Hello, everybody. It is Senior Perspective Jenny, along with our two favorite gay icons, Sunny and Cher. I've got you, babe. Okay, so we didn't get blocked the last time I played it, so I'm playing with fire. And I just remembered that I had heard from somewhere that if you get by the first couple minutes of a stream, or even any video, you have a better likelihood of not getting tagged. Like sometimes they only look at the first 5 minutes and then kind of give up. But I think that was before AI. I think that's when humans were actually doing it. I think now with AI, they look at the whole video. So far, our song is getting through. I got you, babe. Woo! All right, so glad to be here. I worked so hard to get the video out for you guys before this stream tonight, and I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And it's almost all I worked on. I mean, I was gone yesterday for, 4 or 5 hours from the house. But other than that, from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed all day yesterday, besides those 5 hours. And then today too. Besides 2 loads of laundry. And couldn't get it done. I'm close. I'm on the final edit. I'm like 40 minutes into the final edit, but I'm doing the whole thing in one. So it's a little bit over an hour. It's like an hour and 10 minutes. It'll probably be a good hour and 15 minutes by the time I finish editing it and get the show clips in it. So I'm close. It'll come out tomorrow. And then I have some other stuff for you too. I have Puddle Monkey has come to join us today. Say hello to Puddle Monkey. He's here to join. Although we had a long discussion on Sunday night when we were watching the show on whether Puddle Monkey is actually producing it or not. And maybe Puddle Monkey is, but just Tim Gibbons isn't the producer anymore on it, which I just found hysterical because Puddle Monkey is a production company created by Tim Gibbons. Thus, Gibbons, monkey, Gibbon monkey, Puddle Monkey. I don't know where the word puddle came from. Anyway, so he's the creator, director, producer, and then he had another producer that worked with him. And apparently, as the rumor mill goes, and let me make that clear, all I know is from what people are saying, he was asked to step down from being the producer because he got too close to Cody, and Cody was getting too good of an edit. And he has been getting a more fair edit, fair in terms of what the viewers want to see this season. I was going to say as well as Robin, but we still barely see Robin on the show. So whatevs with Robin. But at least Cody is not skating by. Still, they've got a long way to go. A long way to go. It's better. Still calling out Puddle Monkey, though. Still calling him out. Unless I find out it's another name of another production company. When I Googled it online, it still said it was Puddle Monkey. All right. So we got all our fun props. I do want to say, a while ago, and this just goes to show my crazy life, a while ago, somebody was very kind enough to send me the companion to She-Ra. She-Ra! So She-Ra, for those of you who do not know, is Robin's alter ego that she refers to in her book that she claims she created, but it's an actual character from not the Marvel universe, from the, I can't think of it. Not the DC universe. It's another one. All right. Another comic book series, but it was also a television show. And then He-Man is part of that too. He-Man and She-Ra are twins that were separated at birth. And He-Man looks a lot like Cody and has the hair that Cody wishes he had. But he's got the Cody angry face too. He also has a little bit of blush on now that I put it close to the camera there. I'm sure in secret, Cody has a little blush on when the cameras aren't on too. I would hypothetically. I'm just guessing. I have no idea. No clue. One would think. Just goes along with the whole Sunny and Cher stuff. So, yeah. So I want to shout out, I've been holding on to it for the longest time because I was going to do an unboxing online, which I actually kind of did because I recorded the first episode of talking to my son about season 19, but it never recorded. So the unboxing happened. Nobody caught it. My son saw it, but it's probably for the best because with all that plastic in that, I think it was really loud and it may have been really obnoxious for everybody. You know how they get stuck, they're molded into the case. So I saved you all in the long run. But I do want to shout out the person. I went in my sent messages. I went because I figured until we get this PO box set up, I got the forms. I got to follow through and get my butt to the post office and stand in the line. It's like going to the BMV. It's on the bottom of my list of things I want to do. So I'd much rather edit videos than go there. But my husband was kind enough to swing by the other day when he was out and at least pick up the form for me to get the PO box. But in the meantime, when people have been wanting to send me things, I've been giving them a friend who lives a few cities away, but we see each other on Monday nights because my husband doesn't want me to give out my address or city or anything. So I gave the address to somebody, which means it should be in my sent messages. And it's not. Isn't that bizarre? Crazy. Anyway, send me another email. If you'd like me to say your name, I know a lot of people don't want me to say their names or acknowledge them at times, and that's perfectly fine too. I'm thinking maybe that was the case, but I'm like, how come I can't even find the email? I don't know. That's my life. Okay. I saw right before I went on, I was looking through reading through the beginning of the chat here, and I saw the chat about James's live last night and a troll that was on there. And indeed, I have blocked from my whole channel the Mazzo name, but apparently the person has resurfaced under a different name. So if you see said person show up, I don't know if it's really a he or she, you never really know these days. Feel free to go ahead and Lynn, just get rid of her. Or him. It's a female name, but you never know. Okay. All right. What an episode, right? Another good episode. Good. And again, I say, and by good, I mean terrible, but lots to talk about. It's good when we have a lot to share. All right. I see Kathy and Lynn. Joanna's here. Shout out a few people at the beginning, and then I'll get going. Oh, and then I'll have to get the name scrolling at the bottom. My apologies. I was downstairs getting a drink. In the meantime, until I find my drink, I'm taking some actual strawberries, frozen strawberries, and muddling them and putting them in water, then adding some artificial sweetener to it, which has been working. Every now and then I'll throw in like a diet cherry 7-Up or something just to treat myself. But at any rate, I was filling up my drink, and then all of a sudden, I threw out an F-bomb and said, I got 7 minutes to get online. My husband's like, what'd you say? I was gone. All right. Lisa Hannon is here. Hello, UK. Still trying to send Cody your way over there. Shaniqua Smith, hello. If I miss anybody as I'm scrolling quickly, I apologize. Okay. Joni's here. Hi, Joni. Good to see you again. Rosamund Harris is here. Valadia, hello. Joanna, Rachel Saker, hello. You always miss the lives. Well, we're glad you made it today. Okay, I should be clicking on them. Sean's here. Hi, Sean. Good to see you again. Tracy's Fractured History and More is here. Nadine is here. Hello. Good to see you. I'll do a couple more and then we'll get going. JL Carpenter. Hi. Mama Squirrel's in the house. Hi, Mama Squirrel. Peach. Good to see you. All right. Sam Stewart. Hi. Sam, we missed you Sunday night again. Knit My Bit is here. Hello. The Crow's in the house. And Sherry. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Lots of chat going on. Wow, we have a active chat going on. Jay Lou is here. Renee is here. Hi. Number 21, hitting the like button. Excellent. Excellent. A PT, yeah. I wanted to be a PT instead of a speech therapist. And then when I realized you have to inflict pain on people, I knew I couldn't do it. So I figured speech is easier. And that's why I went into speech. Yeah, like I can't make people hurt. Andrea, hello. Marie Hickson, good to see you. Liberty Lisa, hello. Good to see you. And Sherry is in the house as well. And Passing for Normal, good to see you. Okay, Roxy Jean, hi there. Yeah, Tim Gibbons and Christopher Poole. And is Christopher Poole the one now that is being the producer? Because I think they kind of worked in conjunction, but Tim was sort of the head guy if he was asked to step down. I don't know. I don't know all the details. Marvel, it's not Marvel. It's more obscure, but I think it's more obscure, but if you heard it, you'd know it. So like Marvel, no, because the Marvel universe I'm familiar with. And the DC I'm a little bit familiar with. Marvel I know really well. I watched all those films. DC I know a little bit. And I know it's neither one of those. It's another one. But it's more comic booky, I think. Anywho, that's who these two are. So now we've got characters when we need to reenact. I have a Cody and a Robin. Very good. And then we have somebody to strangle when we're upset with Puddle Monkey, not asking follow-up questions. And to hug and love when they do. Because we also like to give love when they do right. Positive reinforcement goes a long way. Yes, it does. Okay. Speaking of which, that comes up. Should we just jump right in there? We'll just jump all over the place. We'll jump all over. Squirrel. Cody wants the He-Man for himself. I bet he has a He-Man. He probably does. He probably looks at it every night before he goes to bed and goes, I love that hair. That's what my hair looks like, doesn't it? Yeah, I think it does. I could not believe when I'm watching the show. First of all, it was nice to see an appearance of Ari. We have not seen her this season. They have kept her under wraps. And she was extremely subdued as well compared to the Ari of old. So that's interesting. I mean, so I do believe some parenting happened ahead of time before this scene. And she was told to, keep it down to a 2 and not bring it up to an 8 for the taping this time. And they, I don't know. I heard a lot of people talking about her being an 8-year-old, but isn't she older than 8 in that scene? I feel like this would have been just last year. This would have been, well, who knows? Because the episode before, there was snow falling down, and then they said it was the end of summer. So one episode later. So was it end of summer the year before? Was it the end of summer 6 months later? Puddle Monkey! Don't know what's going on. But at any rate, I think she was older than that. Old enough that Robin shouldn't have been using the excuse that when you have children, paint ends up everywhere, like they just end up eating it in their mouth and everything. I'm like, no. I have pictures of my girls. At one point, my husband went to visit his family. His mom lived for a while in Alaska. And he would go for a week when the kids were really small. We took them twice to Alaska, but it's a big deal to take kids that far and expensive. So when we wouldn't go, he would just go for a week to visit his mom. And during that week, I would always do some sort of like fun little project around the house, kind of surprise them, a little home improvement project. And I told the girls, I'm like, let's do your room. And it was I let them this one cubby area in their room because it was like an old farmhouse that we were in. So there were all those dormers and slanted ceilings in their bedroom. And I'm like, this little cubby area, I was letting them sponge paint it. with like a bright pink. Just like remember back when take a scrunchy grocery store bag and you dip it and you put it on that way. It was kind of the trend for a while. Anyway, so I'm like, hey guys, let's all do this together and you can do that. I stripped them down to their underpants, plastic all over the floor. And so I was like, go ahead and go at it. Now, mind you, they were like 5 and 7 at the time. I don't know how much paint they actually ended up getting on them at the time, but I know they didn't get it anywhere they weren't supposed to because we had clear rules and I set up the environment for success ahead of time. Here we go, covering all the ground, taking off your clothes. I'm not going to worry about it getting on any of your clothes. I don't care about the underpants. We'll throw them away. Go at it afterwards, jump in the bathtub. It'll be time to go to bed afterwards. So it's very easy to set up an environment for success. So you'll see when the video comes out, I put the little clips of the few times that they spoke to Ari, which were all just yelling at her for getting paint on herself and then eventually telling her to just stop. I actually felt sorry for her in a way. And I'm like, like nobody told her, like, do it like this or roll it like this. And she was leaning over something. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm like, God, all right. I don't know. So I was on the fence. One, I kept thinking, okay, she's not only 8 years old, but then again, she's very big for her age. So maybe she was only 8. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. I'll scroll and see. But I just thought that scene was sort of fascinating. So I put it into the video to let everybody go ahead and chime in. All right. Oh, did somebody say Hanna-Barbera? It's not Hanna-Barbera. Oh, shoot. It probably says on the box. Masters of the Universe. Masters of the Universe. We have He-Man, Teela, Skeletor, Merman, Eternia. I think that's the name of the city. And then, of course, we have She-Ra, too. They don't even mention She-Ra in here. New Eternia. Okay. Masters of the Universe. Series. I actually have a few weapons that he comes with, too. So cleaning off the table, tools. Those really look like the wire brushes that you use on grills, but I just saw, hey, public service announcement. I just saw a TikTok, or actually, I'm not even on TikTok, a YouTube short the other day when I logged in. Sometimes I get stuck down that. They make you have to go buy them to get to on my main page. I wonder if I can move them down somehow. Because like on my page, I have them at the very bottom. Because I only have 2 shorts on there anyway. I took the rest of them away because they were horrible. Anyway, how do I turn that off? That's going to be annoying if people keep, I don't know what to do. Anyway, so I saw on the YouTube short that there was this little boy at a picnic and he kept grabbing his ear and he was, long story short, grabbed his ear, a lot of pain. They eventually ended up in the emergency room. They found nothing wrong in the emergency room. They sent him home days later, back in the emergency room, tons of pain, could find nothing wrong, sent him home again, sent him to follow up at his doctor. Doctor could find nothing. A couple days later, excruciating pain, back in the emergency room. Finally, the ER doctor, who's the one that was doing the YouTube short, because she was doing it sort of as a PSA, ended up doing a full battery of absolutely any test they could possibly think of. And it was a certain specific kind of CAT scan with the cross stuff and all that. And they found this tiny little fiber hair of steel that was from the steel brush from cleaning a grill. and it had gotten into the hamburger that he had eaten because you couldn't see it. It was very small. So it felt like it was in his ear because it got stuck kind of in the back of his throat and sort of lodged back in this area. And then, of course, now it had become inflamed and irritated in that. But then she started showing a sequence of all these x-rays of people with little wire fibers in their gut and their colon and their like all throughout them. And she was saying, don't clean your grills with wire brushes. It's the worst thing that you can do. Those little things come off and they get into the food and you don't see them because they're so small. And then they can obviously be very harmful to people. Who knew? They should not make those. No. All right. Back to silicone or whatever else they make them with. All right. It's a little sidetrack, but I mean, good information, right? Okay. I'll see. Oops. Here we go. Sorry to hear that, Mama Cat. My chat went ahead when I went to click on something else. And that's what I clicked on. Somebody else said, good to hear that. I missed it. The chat just jumps ahead and then I can't find it. But yeah, anybody that has wire brushes now for their grills, go ahead, get rid of them and go find something else. Go find something plastic. Silicone, I guess, because it has to be something that can heat up. Okay. All right, where to begin? I'm trying to wait for my Notes app to sync, and let me get out of the Notes app and open it back up again. Yep, that didn't work. This happened the other day. Interesting. Why is that not happening? I wonder why it takes so long. All right, well, I have the show pulled up, so we can go in order that way too. But I'm sure we'll have plenty. One thing will just lead right into the other, as just happened here. Okay. All right, so I just want to say, thrilled that we're talking finances again. There were, I feel like, some pretty big bombs that were dropped in this episode. I feel like, Michelle, He-Man's the one that fought Skeletor. Like, I knew some of you were going to know these characters because when I had She-Ra, some of you were like instantly going, yeah, She-Ra, she was the twin sister of He-Man and did it. And I was getting whole stories in my notes. And I was like, I didn't know. This is the one story I never followed. All right. Like number 118. Excellent. Thank you, Carol Ann. All right. Okay, so many bumps. Okay, the one thing I was just editing before I got here is sort of at the top of my mind, and that is the whole notion that they didn't have money to buy out Janelle and Mary. Did they really not have the money? If it's true they did not have the money to buy them out, how were they able to buy that other house? How could they buy the other house before they sold their house? Or was their other house sold and somehow on the market the one showed up as bought before the other one was sold, which just seems odd, but I don't know how things work in real estate. Maybe some things get held up longer before they get posted or before the agent does it. I don't know. I would think the MLM is the MLM, and when it happens and it transfers, but I don't know. I'm not part of that world. So that's one of my big questions that I have there. How is it? I'm so sorry if that is going to annoy me. Can you hear that dinging? Do you want me to sit on it? I can sit on it. It's just Messenger. I don't know how to turn off Messenger on my watch. If I had my phone here, I could. Anyway, I don't have it here. Moving on. So that was one of the big questions I had. Now, I felt like in this episode, this is the first time I really felt like Cody did want to keep, if nothing else, a part of the land. And it's the first time that I really felt like Robin didn't. I feel like this might be a bone of contention in their marriage. I feel like he is like this whole storyline of how much she loved it and how sad she is and blah, 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 blah. As soon as she's like, well, we can't really afford it, we'd have to give up something else. i.e., my spending budget. She instantly was like, yeah, we have to give up something else. Well, what is there to give up? She got nothing to give up. I mean, everything else is taken care of. They got to give up their house. I mean, what do they have to give up? Yeah. Yeah, right, Crow. I got that. She did not. She just had that. She didn't want to talk about it on camera. That's for sure. And then she's like, well, I mean, technically we could keep it, but we'd have to give up something. And it's like, where, where is this money going? I'm trying to think besides her spending budget. I mean, because everything else is just your standard mortgage, utilities. That, like, I'm trying to think. They don't vacation. They don't go anywhere. She just spends money. She spends a lot of money. There's nothing to really show for it. Kind of that's the sad part of it. The amount of money that they get and that they blow through. Like, man, I could make myself look like I've got money if I had a fraction of the money they have. And like, I'd travel. I mean, I see nothing. There's no home improvements on their house. Everything's dark and dingy. Of course, they're getting a new one now, but I just don't see. Oh, that's a good point. The kids' education. Although I think McKelty doesn't know what she's talking about. I was going to say McKelty said they went to a public school, but they showed up in like uniforms. Now, some public schools have uniforms, but they're usually inner city schools where they have a hard time enforcing dress codes. At least that's how it is near the inner city nearby where I live. The inner city school kids have strict uniforms that are similar to the private school kid uniforms. And it's just to help not have identifying gang color situations, and also to just not have any of the issues affiliated with class and money and all that kind of stuff, or one person stealing something from another. Like, they just don't have to deal with any of it. Everybody's the same. So that's how it is where we are. So there's a chance. I'm doubting highly that where they live, they're going to an inner city school where they're dealing with such issues. I mean, these are the same schools that have the metal detectors when you walk in, etc., and the armed security guards as well. I don't think that's happening in Flagstaff, Arizona. So I'm thinking McKelty's wrong. I'm thinking that they did go to a private school, at least for a section of it. Maybe a couple years they didn't. I don't know how much she lived in Flagstaff anyway that she would even really know. Is it true that the new house is under the title of Alice Sullivan Trust? Oh, that would mean that Robin's, it would be essentially kind of Robin's mom's name on the house. Yeah, I don't know. I can make myself a note and look it up afterwards. I don't want to waste your time now, but I can look it up after the fact. Where's my, oh, there it is. Mary's selling jewelry now. Isn't it funny? Mary's now selling jewelry, and Christine has a B&B. They're all like kind of starting to do what each other is doing in terms of businesses. And Mary started with LuLaRoe, and then everyone, I mean, she wanted them to. It wasn't like a copycat thing. They all started doing LuLaRoe too. They all signed up underneath her. Okay. So look up the owners of Flagstaff home. All right, which would mean it's transferred. So I'm like, if it's already on the real estate transferred through the county auditor, and it shows who it's listed under, then I would think that that would mean that they live there already, that they've already moved. That's interesting. All right. Talk about Mykelti not knowing what's going on. She didn't know that they had bought that house, Cody and Robin. She also didn't know that her mom sued Cody for child support. That all came out like live as people were like tweeting her. She's like, no, I don't know anything. No. And then finally she realized like they did. Like, no, they did. And they started sending her documentation. She's like, what? But I get that too, because you can't tell Mykelti. Christine could have never told Mykelti, I'm going to do this to your father. She can't trust her as far as you can throw her. She's going to leak it to Robin, if nothing else. So, I mean, it was smart of Christine to say nothing to Mykelti. And she could also couch it under the understanding of, it's your father, I don't want you involved. That type of thing. Okay. The jewelry is nicer looking than my sister wife's closet. Well, that's good. Wouldn't it be great if it just took off too? It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing, really. Kind of would be. I'll see if there's something I like. Maybe I'll buy something. It'd be really sort of cool. She had. I wonder if she's doing. She must be. She must be trolling. I would love the fact that she would be trolling Robin right now. That she's at that place with Robin. I know she's at that place with Cody. I shouldn't say I know. It's hard to say that with Mary because it always feels like you know what she's thinking. And then all of a sudden it feels like she takes 2 steps back. She falls back into the, I still to this day feel like if he just went up to her and said, I screwed up. I'm giving it all up. I want you. She'd go to him. Would she do it if Robin were still there? That's the question. I don't know. What do you guys think? If he went up to Mary and said, I'm so sorry, I made a huge mistake, and he was contrite, and he said, it's not the same. I need you back. I miss you. You know, he didn't throw Robin. He's like, I'm still with Robin. And of course she wants you too, but this is about me. You know, because if he just does what he normally would do, it'd be like, it's all about Robin. She wants you back. I want a relationship with you again. I don't want it to be like it's been. I want it to be like when we first got married. Like if he poured that on to her, would she go back? What do you think? What do you think? I'm going to have to figure out how to do polls on here. I put that on my list of things to do so we can do these on the lives because I come up with these questions, but you guys are so great about chatting in the chat that it all gets mixed in there, so it's hard to get the actual. I need to put actual polls. All right. Polls for chat. I didn't think about that until just now when I threw that out. Okay. So that's on my to-do list for the next week. Okay. Let's see. Danny says Mary would, but not if Robin is there. I think she realizes Robin and what she has done. Could be. No way Jen would let her go back. Now, see, there's a good point. Yeah, Jen wouldn't, would she? Jen wouldn't. Would Jen let her go back if Robin wasn't there? If Robin went to another family, if she went to get a release from Cody because of what he did to the other wives, and of course they'd give it to her, especially if one of them was all ready to take her on as a wife and she went and was taken on as a wife, then would she go back to Cody? Gosh, I hope not. I hope that scenario doesn't even come up. All right. Liberty Lisa says, I would have said that a week ago. Now I don't think Mary would take him back. Yeah, it does feel like she's getting further and further away. And again, we have 0 timeline since one episode was a good 6 months away from the other one. So who knows? Miss Maggie says, absolutely, she'd go back. How come it's not popping up? There we go. Absolutely, she'd go back. All right. All right, Twyla. I don't think so after the last show. Joanna says that Jen have a fit. She would have a fit. I better catch it on film if it happens too. I don't know. I don't know. So going back to the land, I did have a little, not to bring anything down, we'll just say this really briefly, but I talk about it in my video briefly again, touch on it, and then I move on. But um, I, I don't know if you noticed in the editing of Cody talking about the land and all of that, he makes the comment that Coyote Pass is the last place that everybody was together. And there is a clip. Now I took that out of the when I was going back through and doing the editing, like when I recorded it Sunday night at 1:30 in the morning, Monday morning, I guess, late after the show aired, when I was doing the recording, I said that you can see Garrison in this shot, and you can, but when I look at that shot and I look at how old Ari looks in it, it does not look like that would have been the last time they were on Coyote Pass all together. So it doesn't look, not that it had to have been. I know it was symbolic of here's all the family together at a campfire on Coyote Pass. And so there's just sitting there with Robin and her family. And so he's kind of reminiscing and saying, you know, this is the last time the whole family was together. And I feel like giving up this land for him might be possibly giving up a piece of Garrison if it was the last time he felt his whole family was together, and he's always wanted the whole family to be together, and it's all fallen apart. It's all his fault that it's all falling apart, mind you. Nevertheless, and I still don't think he can see that at all, but I do believe he's sad about it. And so I feel like that's partly why he wants to keep, and I feel like that's why he wants to keep the parcel with the pond. It's not a pond. In it too, because of the memories of them all running into it and that initial scene when all the kids were together. I feel like that's what they want. And possibly that could be the comments that Robin was making when she said, let's not go there now. It's too painful. Let's not talk about it. When I was first watching it through, her comments to me were all about herself. It's too painful. We had the dream of the whole family and, you know, but if indeed, as they said, I mean, they are wearing short sleeve shirts, and so it looks like the weather's warm, and they said it's almost the end of summer. We need to get a few more of these in, which is a whole nother issue. I talked about that on the video, but this is the end of summer. Well, if we're doing the end of this last summer, Garrison passed in March. So her saying, I'm sorry to bring it up, we shouldn't talk about it, and it's too painful, we shouldn't go there. It could be they did have the subtext of Garrison in their heads when they were talking. I only thought of it for that one comment that he made, because that comment was made in a Talking Head interview. So I never thought about it when they were actually there on the property talking to each other relating to that situation. Because Talking Head interviews, we know, are always filmed significantly later after the footage happens. But so I did cut some of the stuff out because clearly Ari looked a lot smaller, but they did, maybe intentionally, have Garrison in that shot. Now, it's dark, it's night, and his head is down. It's not blatantly Garrison, but like if it's not Garrison, I'd be shocked, because it'd be like, wow, Gabe looked a lot like Garrison in that video clip. And I wonder if they intentionally had that one scene there as sort of an homage and a nod to what Cody was talking about in that scene. Okay. Did anyone else catch that or get that at all? Or am I just crazy? And then again, it's all hypothetical, and I'm not really sure. And so I started to talk about it, but then I instantly stopped because, like, one, I don't want the video to go sad. Two, TLC timeline, God only knows. And 3, it still doesn't answer the question, why don't they have the money to buy that? I don't get it. I don't get it. How can they not have the money to buy that one parcel of land when the whole property is paid off? So essentially, they're going to get money back. When they sell the other 3, they're going to get a little bit of that money back because that's not half. It's still more than half. I mean, not a lot more than half, but if they keep that 5 acre, they still have like, about another 2 acres, right? Because it's 14 acres. So they get about another 2, however much that is. They're still getting that money back too. So they would be able to just keep that 5 acres of land, sell off the rest of it. Mary gets her money, her quarter. Janelle gets her quarter. And then they get whatever the money is for that last 2 acres. So they still get cash back. And even though they're still getting cash back, they're still not going to be able to afford to keep that land, which then made me say, the only dots to connect here is to say, therefore, they were completely dependent on those 3 wives' money. Because how all of a sudden could you not afford to own less? You're going to get money back. You're going to have a portion of it and get cash back and still have you're not going to own it all, but you're going to own a portion of it and get cash back. And you can't afford to do that? How can you not afford to do that? I understand maybe you can't afford to buy them all out. I still feel like you should be able to. But nevertheless, you can't afford that 5 acres? How is that possible? How is that possible? How can you blow through money like that? I just don't even understand. Okay. Okay. Kathy, that's so funny. If Kosi put fish in the runoff, then he'd have to go fish out all the dead ones. Yeah, that was so funny. Yeah, that was a flashback to, we're going to line this pond so that the water doesn't go away. It's a runoff. And even when he's showing the property to the realtor, he's still going, I don't know why this sometimes has water and sometimes doesn't. We don't know why it's sometimes a pond. After all these years, the shocking part about that, okay, let's just say, okay, he knows nothing about this type of land, even though he lived in the mountains his whole life. But that aside, it's crazy. Let's pretend like he's been paying attention to nothing in his life. Not a hard stretch. He gets there. He has no idea about this runoff situation here. How can you own it for 7 years and not understand the pattern of when it's full and when it's not, related to the rains and the snow and the seasons? How does that not connect? And even if it doesn't, how can you own it that long and know that it goes up and down and never go online, talk to a neighbor, research, somehow talk to the owner? It's owner financed. You know who the owner is. Talk to the owner and get some information on why is it that sometimes it has water and sometimes it doesn't? How can you do that for 7 years? You own it, that vast amount of money you're putting into this, and to not have that basic knowledge of it, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. Wow, how could you walk through life being so incredibly clueless? It makes you wonder, how many other things does he just have no idea about? It's amazing to me. I mean, I don't want, I'm first one to say, not everybody knows everything, right? You can sit there and play Trivial Pursuit with somebody, and one of the questions that you felt like you knew ever since you were 3 years old, and that's come up every 6 months in your entire life, and somebody's like, what? Never heard of that before. Different people, different circumstances, so much to learn in the world. It's fine if he may not have known about it. But there is no excuse to go 7 years and still say to the agent who is going to list it for you, I have no idea what this pond's doing here. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see here. My husband wanted to know why I started pacing and yelling at my phone. So the show brings out the worst in us. It does. I literally started losing my cool when I was recording this video this time. Oh, that man, he can. It's when it was literally, and it was just one word. It was one word. It's when he was like telling Mary and Janelle to just go take care of it themselves, because if they want it taken care of, they can go do it, ladies. And when he did that little smug ladies, I think I just blew a gasket. Like if I were a cartoon, the smoke would have been coming out of my ears and the top of my head would have come off and those birds would have been flying around. Like would have been going insane. There was something about it that it really hit my last nerve. It may have something to do with the fact that it was somewhere between 11:30 at night and 2:30 in the morning that this was happening after a long day. I'm sure that factors in. Nevertheless, I lost it. Oh, goodness. Tina in the last 20. How can any of the land be sold if the title ownership issues? Yeah. Well, it technically doesn't have title ownership issues. Technically, it can be listed the way it is. But Mary and Janelle certainly don't want it to be listed until the title gets changed. Because if they sell it as is, Cody gets all the money predominantly, and they're at the mercy of just sitting there waiting for Cody to be nice and hand it over to them. Well, he's not going to do that, because if he gets all the money, he's paying the taxes on it too for the sale of it. So he's not just going to gift them that money. So they need to, for their own financial future, and because you can't trust Cody as far as you can throw him, you have to get him to change it so that I don't even know how they're going to change it, because it's not equal the way it is now. They're all odd. I mean, they're all odd. One's a 5 something, one's 4 something, and then 2 of them are 2 something. None of them are actually equal in terms of putting their name on it. I don't know how they're going to do it. See, this is the problem with Cody dragging his feet, as he does on absolutely everything. Remember, they were going to restructure it at one point. They were going to restructure it and make it 4 equal lots. That was what they were originally going to do back when they bought the property. Cody never got around to it. Then COVID hit and the whole family blew up, and Christine was still there, but there was a lot of animosity and problems with the kids in that. And that's when Cody said, we're dividing it into 5 lots and I'm going to get my own piece. And I remember at first them saying, what do you need a piece for? You're going to all of ours. He's like, well, I might want to have like a little cabin just to escape to. And then mine will be the family lot that all the kids can go to, because we know nobody's going to share the rest of them. We're like, no, we know nobody's going to your house, Cody. What are you talking about? And then his was going to be the one with the pond, because we know the kids are going to want to go to the pond. And it had to have smelled too. Remember on the thing he even said, don't go in there, it has cow manure. It couldn't have smelled good. Okay. Anyway, so clueless. He's so, so then he was going to divide it into 5. And there wasn't a lot of pushback, because there never has been a lot of pushback from the wives the whole time in their marriage. Boy, they get away with murder. Um, and then he just never got around to that either. So everything is exactly how it was when they first bought it. Because 7 years later, he's never gotten around to having the land redivided up. He's like, well, I guess we got to get a surveyor in here. Like, okay, do it. I mean, you might be able to get somebody tomorrow. Everything seems like it's like a 6 to 9 month process for him, of him having to think about it, decide about it, ponder it. Like there's no ignition in his body to begin anything unless it's something he's giddy excited about doing, like cutting a tree down. Then he's got the ignition, but he doesn't have the ability to complete it to the end. I wonder if that's true in all parts of his life. Anyway, let me go to the chat. Mama, the troll yelled at you too. The nicest people ever. Kathy and Mama. That's not right. Charter schools in Arizona. See, that's interesting because McKelty specifically mentioned that Truly went to a charter school, but that Robin's kids didn't. They went to a public school. I wonder if it was the opposite. Maybe she just got confused and Truly went to the public school and they went to a charter school. Because she was explaining, somebody asked about why Cody would drive them to school in the morning, but not Truly. And she said, well, they did go to different schools, but she still thought it was wrong that he didn't pick up Truly, that literally they passed Christine's house on the way to school. So he could have taken either Truly to school first or the other two to school first and then taken the other one to school. So it would have been a possibility. And she thought it was wrong that he didn't do that, which it was. Okay. Any sale requires signatures of all parties? No, because 2 of the parcels only have Cody and Robin's names on them. Like the family all pitched in to buy all of them, technically, but legally, only Cody and Robin's name on it. And that's what that's what Janelle was so upset about in this episode. That's where she was concerned about them selling it out from underneath her. Not meaning her part necessarily, but they could have sold the 2.12 acre and the 5 point whatever acre. Those 2 parcels have just Cody and Robin's name on it. So they could, and they're not touching each other. So they was like, the other ones are in between. So it would be an odd thing, but they could sell those on their own, bank the money, not let them see it at all. And then Cody's name is still on the other 2 parcels. So he could play hardball and then say, okay, now we'll sell the other ones and then divide it up the way it says on the paperwork, which is the 2 acre lot said Cody and Janelle, and the 4 acre lot said Cody, Janelle, and Mary. Yeah. So that's why Mary got less than 2 acres, actually, based on the way it was all written out. So legally, now what they wanted to do was get everybody once, if they could go to the title company and on the title, change the title to put everybody's name on everything, then all parties have to be involved and sign off for the sale of the property. If they're going to sell it all as one lot too, they would all have to sign off. Like if they're going to list it as one parcel, kind of like, even though they're individual lots, if they're going to try to sell it as like a bundle, they would need everybody to sign off because they would, part of that, their name is on, if that makes sense. You would not sign an NDA for Antonio Banderas? I would for Antonio Banderas. Verna, rethink that. Yeah, the big steel drains didn't give him a hint. Yeah, sticking out of the side of the land, those big metal pipes that come out, that the water from the drainage that goes into the pond. It's amazing how God made this pond with a metal ditch, metal pipe that feeds into it. People have gotten brain worms from swimming in water like that. Yeah, I wouldn't swim in it. I would not swim in it. I know Janelle wanted to be in the parcel next to it. That is the one that has her name on it, with Mary and Cody as well, because she just wanted access to it to get the water to water her garden, which I thought was a clever use of the water. I think it would be fine for that. I'd still test it first just to make sure, especially if you're going to not just grow flowers, but actually grow vegetables or fruits or things that you're going to eat. But Cody knew there had to have been pastures of cows or something up in the mountain area if he knew for a fact that there was a cow manure in that ditch there. And then what about all the prairie poop too? What about that? How come we haven't seen one prairie dog? Remember the whole conversation about that before they bought the land? There's prairie dogs all around here, and they poop, and it can be toxic or something like that, she said. Don't let the kids touch it. That right there would have made me say, we are not buying this land. There's no way I'm going to risk having my child possibly touch something that has a toxic, fatal prairie poop by mistake. No. Oh. But it doesn't appear to have ever been an issue. Of course, how much time did they spend in prairie poop land? Not very much. Which is another topic I addressed in my video. So comical. Robin moaning and complaining about, I never know when it's the last time. Here we go. I never know when it's the last time that we're going to be here on Coyote Pass when I'm here. She lives 15 paces down the road. How can she not know? Look, if you don't know, who's going to know? If you don't know what you're doing tomorrow, how is anyone else going to know? Just put it on your calendar and go, woman. You can go every single day. Do a morning walk every day. Do a jog in the evening every day. How do you not? What do you mean? I never know when it's the last time we're going to be here. She makes it seem like this is across the country or something. It's in walking distance. Crazy to me how she can make herself a victim in every situation. I don't know. She's a gift. It's a gift, I tell you. It's a gift. All right. Yes, she does live for her camera moment, doesn't she? And did you notice, Rhonda actually pointed this out too. She has, in her interview this time, it was done on 2 different days. Same blouse, but one of the times she has like a bright, not bright, but she has a pink lipstick and more mascara And when she has the pink mascara, when she has the mascara and the lipstick, she's got the gray roots coming in. The other time when she doesn't have any lipstick and same shirt though, completely dark roots. So they were done at least a week or two, if not more, apart from each other, those interviews. And they're talking about the same thing because I noticed it when they were talking about the kids and how incredibly, okay, it's not mature, when she was saying how, not out of the box thinkers. What was the term that she used? Not high level thinkers. She was using something that would refer to open-ended questions and higher level thinking. I can't remember what she was, but she was complimenting her girls. And basically they were answering the question, how many kids do you want to have when you grow up? And she was so impressed that they were thinking about this. And I was just like, are you kidding me right now? She really saying this? Like, these are questions that I was thinking about when I was a young kid, because I've always wanted to be a mom. It's the occupation I wanted to have when I was a kid growing up. Mommy, that's what I wanted to be. So I've always thought about how many kids do I want to have in that, like when I was 7 and 9 years old. So the fact that they're in their mid-20s and they're thinking about how many children they want to have, I don't see it as being high-level thinkers. Can't remember exact terminology. But anyway, during that interview is when the one time she talks about it, and then she had another, is when it goes back and forth between no lipstick, pink lipstick, no lipstick, dark roots, gray roots, dark roots in her hair. Yeah, they did mention not wanting to be in polygamy too, but that was kind of a throwaway line. It's true. Because that was in there too, but they didn't go on about that. Like, the whole conversation was all about how many children do you want to have? They just said they didn't want to be in polygamy, which, like, I mean, who would? That's not deep thinking either. I mean, look at the experience they saw. You have to not have a brain to say, and I want to sign up from what I just saw our family go through. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. That was crazy. All right. That was so gross of a mom to ever ask those questions. Ridiculous. Yeah, and Cody too. Do you notice how Cody like stood with his hip out when he did that too? I never asked you kids that. I thought I should record this, but I won't. I was being nice. Threw his hip out, and I never really asked you this. Do you want to have kids, and how many? These are the kind of really deep conversations they have perpetually. He used perpetually inappropriately again. I don't think I have it in the video either. I think he wanted to purchase the land so that they could have these campfires perpetually. Like the eternal flame. Perpetually. Like the Olympic flame. Oh. Beth, you're the same as me. It's my future occupation. That's all I wanted to do. Just want to be a mommy. Well, all about power, all about money. Yeah, that sounds right on for Robin, doesn't it? Okay. She really does. Although she is now, interestingly, I think now that her two oldest girls, I mean, we have no clue what's happening with David Preston, the oldest boy. Hopefully all is well. Just hopefully he's like with his dad and thriving. That's my prayer. Because there's no talking about him either, which is odd. The amount of stuff that they are permitted to hide. But it's fine because there's other members of the Brown family also who are off camera. It's interesting though, because we really care about them. Although I do care about Dayton. Dayton's the one that I do want to know about out of everyone. The other ones, I just really had a hard time getting invested in these scenes with their family. It feels like it's all acted and contrived, but I'm not sure that it is. I think this might be how they actually interact with each other. And I'm just not connected to him because she's always tried to kind of keep him away from the camera for so long that I don't care anymore. And I know she's hid so much and I know she's lied so much that I just feel like I just can't get invested in any part of her story or any part of her kid's story right now. I think she's pushing those kids on because I think she's trying to negotiate. I've said that, Mark, you can go back and watch the videos from last season. She is going to get her kids on next year, I said. You absolutely, because we weren't seeing the kids last season really at all either. I said, next season, mark my words, 100%, you're going to see those girls on the show because she is going to somehow find a way to negotiate financial stipend or salary for them to be on. I think they're on more than she is. Yeah. To get more money for the family that way. Since they're losing the other one's money, then they can bring it in that way. You know, we're still giving you guys whatever you want. So but we need you to be on the show. Terry would like to know, why did Janelle have to ask permission to park her RV, and yet Cody and Robin can use it as their own ATV track, picnic area, and used equipment storage area? Such a good question. And how is it that, according to Janelle, that even legally it said something in the contractual agreement since they didn't own it outright? Well, it might even be a community agreement. It might not even be just that particular owner of the land agreement. But you couldn't park an RV there for longer than 6 months or something like that was in some sort of contract. I know they got most of the stipulations released before they bought the property that were on it ahead of time, but somehow that one is still there. Again, I don't know. It could have just been a private thing with the owner. But anyway, somewhere in writing that was there. So she couldn't keep it there for longer than 6 months. But he's got all those flatbeds and all the other trucking equipment that's out there. How's that possible? Yeah, that looks better than the RV. I think an RV looks better than all just junk equipment. You know, it's a junkyard, the junk graveyard for Cody's failed businesses. Debbie Downer. Okay. Oh, yes, Twyla. Uncle Paul. So now I put in my video, we have a new term, and he is now deemed on this channel as Uncle Daddy. Because we have Bio Daddy, and then I was calling him Stepdaddy before because he's not really her dad. And then people would get confused because they're like, isn't that her biological dad? You were calling him her dad. And then I would say, no, her bio dad's not in the picture. He left a while ago. And I was like kind of going through the whole story again. So then I just started calling her stepdad because that is what he is to her, is a stepdad. Based on terms of standard American English, which I know Cody doesn't speak, but but now we can just call him Uncle Daddy because it's very clear. He was her uncle. He's now her daddy. Or he was her daddy. Sadly, he's passed, but Uncle Daddy, he is. Splash Zone Paul. Yeah. He was Splashstone's daddy too. That is so creepy. I mentioned that in the video also. I don't get it. I don't know. I understand that some parents all want to be there when you give birth, no problem. Usually moms, but okay, some dads too. Again, no problem. Usually they sit in a respectful position in the room so as not to stare at the cooch for X amount of hours, but not in this case. Not in this case. You're down there with the camera. And who's going to watch that, really? Let's face it. If I had a video of that, the first thing I would do is burn it. I'm sorry. I have my memories of it. That's enough. Give me a picture afterwards. I can recall it all. I don't need to see the action of it. And I don't need to have the memory that it was my father that was holding that camera watching it. No. I would get rid of that so quick. Oh. Okay. Oh, the chat's going so fast. DJ Tag. I didn't. Oops. I jumped ahead again. Splash Daddy may have watched it. Oh, maybe it was for himself. Oh, that's even worse, Sam. DJ Tag. I didn't watch myself give birth. I couldn't imagine. You know what? I had a mirror for the first one because, I was all into the everything. Like, let's do it natural and let's go, and till 18 hours into it. And I was like, epidural? Sounds good. And so I did have a mirror there, but I was so focused on getting the baby out. They kept saying, when I was pushing, I'd close my eyes. And they're like, open your eyes, look in the mirror. And I'm like, but I can't, it was too much. And then when I looked in it, I was like, no. I was not. Oh, no. And they handed it to me. I'm like, oh, she's beautiful. This is lovely. This is all I need. I didn't need to see that. Never again. Take that thing away. Never again. Other two, no mirror. That was not necessary. It's so big too. No, it's no good. Sorry. Oh, goodness. Right. And they also filmed it for TV. They had it documented. So literally the only reason for him to be there is to literally get the cooch shot. Because TV's not getting that. Uncle Daddy watching my JJ. Hi, Donna. Good to see you. Okay. Nicole Aggie says, Uncle Paul, otherwise known as Uncle Daddy, lived next to Mommy. Oh, I didn't realize that. Ew. He lived with the first wife, flirted with the side chick, moved the first one away, and visits on the weekends. That by the 10 Commandments is adultery. So somebody mentioned a long time ago that maybe they all lived in Montana at first and then he moved to Vegas. Or did the mom live in Vegas for a little bit? Because how did they get separated from, or he moved her away? She ended up in St. George, Utah. No, because they must have known each other from Montana. Because they were in Montana, and from Montana, Robin moved to St. George, Utah, and they were in St. George, Utah until she got married, and her mom has always been there ever since. So Uncle Daddy must have lived next door. If they lived next door to each other, it must have been up in Montana. And then he moved down to Vegas and moved her to St. George. Or maybe when he moved to Vegas, she didn't want to move. So he said, okay, we'll move to St. George because it's closer. Or I don't know. See, there's so many stories in there that they don't share. But Robin just makes, I didn't believe for a second the story that she was feeding us. They were friends. And the first wife went up to my mom and said, wouldn't he make a great husband? I don't believe it for a second. Not for a second. There is nothing in their story that indicates those two women were ever friends. They didn't do things together. They didn't live close to each other. They never celebrated holidays together. I don't think so. I don't think so. Call me crazy. Just trying to read between the lines here. I don't know them. I bet Corey, actually. Corey would probably know because he was up there in Montana at the time that Robin and her mom lived there, which means would have been the same time. And he knew Paul, Uncle Daddy, from being up there. So during that whole time, he would have known the first wife. And he made a comment in episodes in the past that he felt like Alice was sort of that slithery. He didn't trust her. He didn't like her ever, but he always liked Uncle Daddy. He liked Uncle Daddy. And I don't know if he ever commented on the first wife, what he thought of her. I don't recall. But he was not fond at all of Alice and her ways. And he said that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So Corey's very funny how he has a way of saying things without saying things. He can say so much more. Oh, I just want to sit down with the two of them for an entire evening and just pick their brain over a bottle of wine. Okay. Lacey B, first time commenter. Aw, thanks for being here. Mama Corpse Maker. Sometimes I go back and read these and it could be like weeks afterwards. And there's always one comma. Mama Corpse Maker makes me laugh out loud. Okay. Brittany, I told my fiance he's staying above my waist the entire time. If I'm not looking, he's not looking. Yeah. If I could take back that whole experience. Okay. Sam says from Montana to St. George, first mama moved number one wife to Vegas. Wait, from Montana to St. George was Alice. But it was also the first mom. So the first mom also went from Montana to St. George. And then the first wife moved to Vegas. And then Alice just stayed in St. George at that point. Is that the deal? Trying to get it all straight because Robin won't tell us what's going on for the life of herself. Some of the little stories we're finding out too. Like the fact that she called him uncle because the two of them were close. Like how many seasons has this been going on and she never mentioned at all anything about the first wife or the family or anything about it? She didn't have to say their names. She didn't have to like out them or anything, but just talk about the family structure and culture and relationships. She didn't have to throw any dirt, but just give information. Nothing. We know nothing about her. So it's on her if we guess incorrectly, because all we can do is take the random puzzle pieces, with which only 2 or 3 match up to each other, and we are trying to piece the rest of it together. Whereas the rest of the wives are giving us the majority of the pieces. Still not all of them, but the majority of the puzzle pieces. Uh, Lynn Skinner, thank you very much for the super chat. That's so kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Brittany, not Brittany. That's so funny. I swear I have that exact line in my video. Oh, something just like that. Yes, I think I have that, or something just like that. Like, she said that the one wife was friends, and wouldn't it be nice if you joined the family? And I think I have just a black screen where I said, just like Mary asked Robin to join the family, or something like that. We are thinking alike. I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, oh, just like Mary did, right? Right, right. And then now we know that's all a lie. It's bad timing for her to reveal the story now, because we're starting to realize more and more what a lie Mary's was from the beginning. Yep. See, knit my bit. Yep. Just like Mary introduced Robin to Cody. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that woman wanted anything to do with him being involved with Alice. I really don't. And how easy did Alice have it? Robin talking about being your man's best customer. Her mother taught her to always, well, yeah, when he's only there for 2 days, it's pretty easy. He's bringing in all the money and the paychecks. He shows up for 2 days. He apparently does house projects and works the entire time while he's there. She had a pretty good gig going on there. Boy, those 2 women both know how to set it up really good. I talk about that in the video too, how Robin had it set up. She's that, the Plobbin marriage. The Plobbin marriage, she knows how to set herself up for success, I tell you. It's not right, but she had a plan and she implemented it. You got to give her kudos for being deceptive. If there's a prize for that, she wins. All right. Oh, I do not have your name scrolling, people. I am so sorry. Just dawned on me. My bad. Let me pull it up while you guys are chatting. I have to do it in 2 separate segments. Oh, look at the time already. Where does the time go? It was a good episode. There's so much craziness. There it is. Okay. Keep the lights on level. KTLO. Oh no. How did I do that? I had a banner that had 1,000 characters. And I just assumed it would always be the first one, and I always would. And I just deleted it and went to add another one, and it wouldn't. If I scroll both of these at the same time, if they go one right after the other, let's see if that works. Riley Davis. Oh, there we go. That one worked. There we go. We got our keep the lights on. I'm going to add one more banner and see if I can have one go right after the other one. Worth a try. Oh, this one's changed to 1,000 too. Some things. I know I can only do one. Okay. We'll do one at a time. All right, let me get back to the comments. All right. Masters of the Universe, that is correct. The crow. What about the giraffe and shrimp room? All I can say is I hope it doesn't end up happening. I will say I enjoyed the lighthearted banter. If this would have been a conversation with Cody, it would have been him insisting and him wanting it and her being anxious about it and her being worried that it's going to be all weird and bizarre. And it was just kind of lighthearted. And I think she knew in the end that David wasn't going to let it be gaudy and horrible. And there was obviously nothing shrimp or giraffe about the rooms at this particular point because they came down. I was shocked that in a 5-hour period of time, they were able to move in all that furniture and have it all furnished and have decorations in there as well. So the rooms are pretty much done. You can't add much more to them. So it'll be interesting to see. And especially since she decided to kind of sister wives theme the place, I doubt that it ended up being shrimp and giraffe rooms. Because why? And not that there's anything wrong with it, except that, I mean, you're not near a safari or down in Florida. Neither one of them. You're nowhere where there's shrimp and giraffes. So it just is, it's like a fish out of water type of situation. It's just like things you like. And it's not even like it's things she didn't even know. She's been with him married to him for over a year, and she had no clue where this idea of shrimp came out. And he just threw it out of the blue of like, some movie I saw once, and the shrimp was really cute. So I thought it'd be a good idea. It's not like he has loved shrimp his entire life, and he had a baby shrimp stuffed animal that was his favorite plushie since he was a little baby. And so it was significant to, he saw a movie that was, there's no reason. There's no reason. These are not fundamental parts of their being or their their persona that represents them. So I hope not. Whatever. I mean, anything can be done tastefully, but I can't imagine it. I can't imagine that it's universal enough that people would go and go, cool, shrimp room. But maybe. Oh, I would feel like it was out of place in the middle of a desert. I would think that a cacti room or you don't want a scorpion room. That's kind of creepy. Jenny, you should do a collab with a couple of Notes to Self. They definitely got some tea on Robin. I know I should. I sent them a message a while ago, so we'll see if they get back to me. But they have a lot of tea. James, I just saw the email today. I'm so far behind on life. There you go. James wanted me to collab with him Sarah couldn't be there on Monday, and he wanted to know if I could fill in. But I saw it today, and that was last night. Actually, now that I think about it, I couldn't have done it anyway. I had something going on last night. But I feel bad. It's a reminder that I need to get back in there and send it back to him. I saw it when I was running errands today on my phone, but I didn't want to write back because I don't trust it on my phone. I like to do it on my laptop. Okay. Oh, does Cody not like seafood? You know what? I think actually Cody probably doesn't. Isn't that? I'm sure we have Jewish people here in the chat. Don't Jewish people not eat bottom dwelling fish? Which is funny because in my chat, in my video, I actually said not a huge fan of shrimp myself because I really don't like bottom dwelling fish. Everything that like crabs and lobster and oysters, shrimp, it doesn't do anything for me. I like the things that swim better. I like shark and cod and salmon, and I'm a natural Jew by nature, I guess. So our Jewish friends can chime in, but I feel like that might be in the Torah. It might be in the first 5 books of the Bible. So it might be part of the kosher diet. And they claim that he's kosher. So there you go. And I don't know that he doesn't like it, but he likes to say he's kosher. So I don't know if he's really kosher or there's just certain foods he doesn't eat. Because if you're truly kosher, like there's a whole process involved in preparing the food and can only touch certain plates. Like there's a lot that's involved with it from my understanding. I don't know. I used to work in a school district that had a lot of children that were kosher. So I was trying to be cognizant and aware because I would go in their homes to do preschool itinerant speech therapy. Tried to be respectful and know as much as I could. 278 and hitting the like buttons. Yay. Grumpy Smurf. We have a lot of characters that we have now. Eeyore, She-Ra, according to her, but we believe Eeyore. We got the Sacred Cow. Grumpy Smurf. It's a good one. Just Grumpy. Grumpy the Dwarf. That would match her too. All right. Did they actually? Third room has jellyfish. So, Marty, does that mean they actually went with those themes? I thought she was going to sister wife theme it. That doesn't have anything to do with sister wives. Betty B. The show needs to be canceled so we can all get our lives back. Honest to goodness. One of these days, I was talking to my kids about it. It pretty much consumes me from the time I get up in the morning until the time I go to bed at night, with the exception of the other jobs that I try to fit in when I can. It's crazy especially when the show is airing. I mean, it kind of happens throughout it, but like when the show is currently going, whoa. Sometimes I go, this is not sustainable. And then the next day Get up and do it again. The nacho. See, Britt? That's my shoe. You're right on. A nacho room. That would have been a great idea. She could have had cute little sayings in there. Nacho, in the bathroom. Nacho maid. Make sure you clean up after yourself, or, I don't know. There could have been cute little things. A nacho room, yes. And that would have been a cute little thing for all the guests when they come, to have a little thing of salsa, a little jar of cheese, and then a bag of chips, because they could all be sealed, and then have that for guests when they come. You have a little, make your own nachos. See? Way better than giraffes. Don't get the giraffe connection. Oh, goodness. Nacho nanny, nacho wife. See? I'm telling you, that would have been a great idea for a room. Nacho nanny. I mean, really. There could have been a beer and Skittles room. That's another good idea. Yes. Yeah, we could have had the Taco Bell dog, that cute little Chihuahua, a little stuffed animal sitting on a little chair in the corner. I mean, the sky's the limit for great ideas. And anyone that doesn't watch the show, they would just think, oh, look how cute. It's a little Mexican themed room. That's nice. And off they go. They didn't need to know, but still, everyone that knew all the inside jokes. Oh, goodness. They need to consult with us. I'm telling you, sister friends are in the know. We have our finger on the pulse and the beat of what the community of Sister Wives viewers like and want. Indeed. Okay. Celery wallpaper. Yeah. Celery in the refrigerator would have been good. Well, yeah, celery. They could have had cut up celery in the refrigerator too, because you can dip that with the cheese too. Yeah. Nacho problem. See? Great ideas. Okay, let me look at the show here. I'm going off. Okay, so the land, confusing, because now Mary said she's going to get a lawyer. Again, who knows, based on the fact that it was snowing, and then the next episode was end of summer. They are doing some, I am praying it's just a Garrison situation, and that starting next season, everything will be chronological. If it's not, God help me, Puddle Monkey. I am giving a pass right now because of a tragedy and letting them figuring it all out. I understand it's probably tricky. I understand there's probably whole episodes and whole storylines that they couldn't put in. So there's a pass right now, but starting next season, if it is not chronological, I'm going to scream. Okay, why did I start saying that? I don't remember. Oh, we were just saying the whole money situation and how Mary, all of a sudden in this episode, she tells Jen that she got this lawyer. She contacted the lawyer from Jen. Yeah, I talked to him. Yeah. Oh, maybe I should get some more information and share it with the lawyer. And now she's like, I'm going to get one. I don't know. I feel like if she's already talking to him and all that, she would have already signed the retainer for him. I don't know. I don't know. I only needed a lawyer once in my life, and I used my cousin, and so it was all just. Nothing was really official. I don't think. I mean, it was. I signed paperwork and I paid him, but I don't remember the process, and I think he was very generous with me in terms of just letting me get by, just trying to help me out. Never be a landlord. Tenant situation. Tenants not paying me. Pain in the butt. All right. So, boy, I have to say, we had some amazing shots of Cody's red head in this episode too. He just he is hanging on to every last thread that is coming out of that forehead. Really is, because it is 90% gone. But there are just some tiny little itty bitty fuzzy patches that kind of blow in the wind and are odd. But you know what would be more odd is if he got rid of them and kept all that down. I think he wants that long, flowy, curly hair so bad that he's willing to understand that everyone thinks this all looks ridiculous, because it would look more, he would be Bozo the Clown if he got rid of it. He'd have to cut it all off. I don't think he can part with his long hair. I think it's very special to him. It's special. Interesting picture. So, boy, I'm just looking at him going, I don't know how much longer we can play this game and pretend like that's actual hair. It was like some peach fuzz on your forehead there, but okay. I love that Janelle and Mary are talking. And there is a line from Mary, however, in this episode where she does not trust Janelle still, where she said, well, everything is still a little difficult because all three of us need to communicate with each other, but we still don't trust each other. And that frustrated me. And that frustrated me because Janelle's had your back. Janelle's the one that contacted you. Janelle's the one that met with you. Janelle's the one that said, watch out for yourself. Janelle was right with everything she came to you with. So to say we don't all trust each other, what has Janelle done or said to indicate she doesn't trust you? I think she's gone above and beyond, since the two of you have never really ever been friends. She's really sticking her neck out, because Cody can be mean and vicious. We've seen that, and we're seeing that because he's aware that Janelle is now talking with Mary, and he is losing it because of that. And I mean, you suffer the consequences of angry Cody then. You get angry Cody when you do anything that he doesn't like, or certainly anything behind his back. So I didn't like the fact that she's still in that place of doubting everyone. The only upside is it feels like at least she has Janelle and Cody I think she has Janelle a little bit higher, but at least Cody's not higher than everyone else. Cody's been higher than Janelle and Christine for the longest time in terms of her trusting. And Robin was even higher than Cody. So I think they're both down now lower than Janelle. And Christine's just out of the picture. And as far as Christine's concerned, Mary's just out of the picture. That makes me sad, but that's just my own personal. I don't know what's best for them, because I still to this day don't completely understand what all went down. The mantra of Cody continuing to go on, talking about how they keep wanting him to do something for them. And he keeps emphasizing the fact that they're exes, as if once you have an ex-wife, they deserve to be treated like mud and dirt, and that you can ignore them. You can do things without like you can treat them horribly. Like that's okay. Is that in your Bible there, Cody, Mr. Religious Man? That it says somewhere that, and then once somebody is no longer part of your family, they then, it doesn't say anywhere in your Bible that you're allowed to treat anybody ever wrong. I don't think so. And yet that's what he subscribes to. And so it really makes me angry that he truly feels justified. Like he may have even at one point used the term righteous anger. There is no such thing as righteous anger in the Bible. There is no righteous anger in the Bible. There isn't. There is one instance of Jesus being angry. And if he wants to compare himself to God, then by all means, Cody, go at it. I'm not touching that one. Anger is not a positive quality. And for him to justify himself in his behavior and his anger and his poor treatment of people, because they done him wrong, which they didn't, but in his brain, in his twisted, distorted view of the women leaving him, they had done him wrong. Let's just say they did even. That's okay to treat him like dirt? No. Mm-mm. He's got so many issues. Really, he does. Sometimes I think Robin lets him just go out on a long leash and then hang himself to set herself up for an argument of eventually getting a release from the church and then leaving him. After she can keep getting her name on everything and maybe even swindle a bunch of money and have it in a safety deposit box somewhere or put away somewhere else. Well, if the trust is in Alice's name, it'd be interesting to see who the trust is willed to. Is the trust willed to Robin, or is the trust willed to Robin and Cody? I'm assuming that's all sealed, and there's no way to get that information. All right, let me get back to the chat here. Chatting away, chatting away. Michelle Streeter, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate you. What's that a picture of? There's a bunch of people in that picture. I can't tell. Thank you, thank you. All right. Yes, bring back the real estate guy. He was kind of cute, wasn't he? Is that what we're talking about? I thought he was kind of cute. I think that Cody had a little bit of a crush on the man. And even if it wasn't like a true crush, it was a man crush in that he's a man who looked like he had it all together. He's a man who intellectually understood his job and all the nuances of it. And he was put together in a manly way. And he held himself in such a way of confidence as opposed to Cody the whole time. Yeah, I feel like there was a little bit of jealousy and admiration on Cody's part when it came to that guy who was easy on the eyes. Cody skips all the red letters. Yeah, that's true. All right. Mama Celeste said, I'm losing my faith in Mary in this season. I was so sure I'd see Mary finally change her tune. I was wrong. At least she has the dog. She just have a good dog. And she has Jen, and Jen is amazing. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know if part of the problem is the timeline and when these things have been recorded and when they're airing them to us, because it is confusing. And the bouncing back and forth of things. Although she has a very big habit of saying one thing to the camera in the couch interviews and another thing in person to Cody. It'll be interesting the first time she sees him in person. Do you find it interesting also that she suggested to Janelle to go see Cody and meet with him to see if we could take care of it? Now, I thought that was a great idea because I feel like it's probably going to be difficult for Mary, who's in Utah, and Janelle, who's in North Carolina, to handle the situation with the property that's in Flagstaff, the same city that Cody lives in. So I was thinking, yeah, if they could go there and be there during the week when offices are open, calling ahead of time, saying, we're going to come, we're going to take care of this, et cetera, and then just let Cody know, here are the, we're getting airline tickets, we're going to fly in, here are the appointments, here are the dates. We handled it as you requested, and just see if he even showed up. At least they could put the work in and maybe save themselves a little bit of money in lawyers' fees, because I know it's an expense to fly out there and stay there. I don't know. Well, I think Janelle still has somebody that she can stay with. However, lawyers are real expensive too, more expensive. So if they can get something done ahead of time, I think it's for the best. There's a possibility that Janelle's lawyer said, do nothing at this point. I am going to handle it all from here. Don't try to do anything because you can screw things up at this point. I could see that as well. So that's a possibility, but it concerned me that Mary wanted to go because I was worried that she wanted to see Cody. And at the same time, I thought, no, I think it's a great idea to go. Go get it taken care of. He doesn't have a foot to stand on. He can't say, I'm too busy. I can't do anything, because they're busy and they live in different states and they're getting there and meeting there to get things done. So if he can't just show up, then it'll look bad on him, because they'll make sure they do it with cameras there as well. So I thought that was interesting. All right. Let me change my banner. These are, and let me read them out because that's part of the level. These are the exclusive SOS supporters. Well, let me start with big supporters. Big supporters are G Kitty 52, who is a new supporter. Welcome, G Kitty 52. Linda W, Negla 3, Carla Colson, Aaliyah, Crafty Florida Lady, Shaniqua Smith, Lisa True, Knit My Bit, Elizabeth Murphy, and Lynn Skinner. And we have our exclusive SOS supporters, which are Sherry Hendricks, Laura McWilliams, Kay O'Brien, Lindsay B, Joni Crowley, Jenny McCutcheon, That's My Shoe, Lisa, Alexandria Swan, Xochitl Amarillo, Holly Jones, Joni C, Susan Price, Brenda, Sherry Pasick, Linda Gasca, Tracy's Fractured History and More, Evie, Kendra MP, Rain Lady, Ladybird's Mom, Cheryl Smith, Steamfrog 99, Living an Eclectic Life, Sarah Lewis, Libby Scher, Sean J, Marie Crabb, Waldo's Mom, Laura Bondurant, Sharon, Dee Dee, Lisa F, Danny Towns, I'm Your Huckleberry, Miss Lita, Julianne Kenkel, Michelle, Sunrise Sunset 1111, Kaylin, Donna Redmond, and Jessica Denham. All right. Thank you for being members of the channel. All right, let me get back to our chat. Let me see what other topics we had covered here too. I just saw the word abs in the chat. There's another, as he's doing the picnic table at the very end and the family's all sitting down and eating. Can we just say it was a family of 5 people all working together. They sanded the table, one side and then the other side, and then they only painted the one side. Done. They all tapped out. They had to eat. Unbelievable. I don't know, like that's a day's work for y'all, huh? Done, huh? Okay. Yeah, exhausting. You can tell manual labor is not the forte of Robin and those kids. My goodness. All right. So anyway, he was doing the painting at the very end, and he finished up and he goes, "Oh, you're all sitting there?" And he kind of leans back, got his little pooch hanging out of his Baby Gap polo shirt. Some things don't change. On the picture here, I have a still shot right now of this campfire scene that they had. Gosh, the whole time his face is down in the food. I'm pretty sure it's Garrison. And then there's a shadow on his face. I bet they did that intentionally. One of the scenes that both Robin and Cody are probably going to get really upset with Janelle about is when she walked into Christine's apartment and down in Moab. Well, I guess it's not an apartment, it's a condo. And she's like, "Hi." You can tell she was prepared to just walk in and start sharing that story right away. That was all set up in her head, ready to go. I do not believe for a second that it was just spontaneous coming off her head. I think she thought, I'm just going to walk in when I get there and I'm going to talk about how annoying it was that every time we had to go to Robin's house, we had to knock on the door and then wait till she eventually got there and opened the door for us. How annoying. And they did used to always just walk into each other's houses, especially Christine's. I remember people walking in and out all the time. Yeah, it was just like family. I agree with Mary, how Mary said she liked it when somebody walked in that they did the knock as they're walking in. Like I do that at my mom's house too, but my mom knows that I'm coming over. I don't think I even walk into my mother's house, just walk in. But I'll always call ahead of time and say, I'm going to be coming over shortly. But then she always makes sure that she has the front door unlocked. And then I just walk in and sometimes I'll just say hello as I'm walking in, or I might knock I don't knock anymore because now she has a dog. She rescued a dog. So I don't want to get the dog all riled up. So I'll just walk in and just go hello, which is enough to get the dog going. But the knocking, you know how that makes dogs go crazy. So I'll make like an announcement. So I get where Mary's coming from in terms of, I liked it if there was a little knock announcement as they were walking in. I appreciate that. And I love how Robin tried to say the same thing in her thing. I like a little announcement. And then Christine comes right back with, you had to knock on Robin's door and stand there and wait until somebody came to the door and opened it for you. That's not an announcement. It's like the same thing as knocking on a stranger's door. Or most people's doors. I mean, I get it. That's what most people do, but it was different in this family. I didn't agree with the philosophy of Mary saying, I might be walking around naked in the middle of the day, so I can't have. I'm like, well, don't. As soon as I had children, I stopped walking around naked in the middle of the day and haven't done it since. I mean, occasionally now I'll walk back and forth naked, but there's nobody to walk into my house anymore. But for a few decades, I didn't, because there's always a chance that there could be a kid coming and going or whatnot. I didn't find that a very good argument. Don't do it. Stay in you need to be naked. Stay in your bedroom and bathroom area. Anyway, so I half agreed with Mary, half disagreed with Mary. Robin didn't buy it at all, but I found it very funny that it was very clear to me that Janelle was all prepared to walk in and just start throwing shade at Robin right from the get-go. Let me say how. Because you know why she wanted them to knock. Because she had the nanny there the whole time doing all the work. She didn't want people walking in and seeing her relaxing and eating her bonbons or taking a nap or doing whatever with Cody. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, Joni. Her eyelashes. The eyebrows just ramped up another level again. She tamed them down there for a little bit. They were getting lighter and not quite so thick, and I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, whoop, and then boom, we have stage theater eyelashes on. I'm like, who are you? Nobody wears those in public. Okay. Sam, each wife had a picnic table and wondered why only 3 tables on the property. That's a good question because there was only one there. She did say she asked her dad to make them. Did he actually make one for each house? She never really came out and said whether he did or not. She did ask him, but maybe he never really made one for everybody because they moved at that time, and one right away went on to Coyote Pass. So I was thinking maybe there were only 3, and maybe one was at Christine's house in her backyard, the desert backyard, and maybe one was with Janelle or Mary. And she had one in Coyote Pass there. They should have had at least 2 of them on Coyote Pass if they planned to have the kids, like people gathering there. But you're right. There always used to just be the one there. And then, but she did make the comment that her dad was going to make them for all the wives so that they could. But they didn't show 4 tables together ever in terms of we need to put them all together for the whole family. They never had 4 together. So maybe he never got around to making one for everybody before they moved. I don't know. Because we always get bits and pieces of stories. Dun, 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 dun. It's a house on no, it's a condo. It's connected to other ones. It's touching other properties. And then there's also there's like a community pool and a community hot tub. It seems like it's a condo development, no? Like individually standing condos, not like condo, like condo, those kind of condo apartments, but like a condo. And it wasn't even a freestanding condo. It was because it was connected to another one next to it. So I'm pretty sure it's a condo. But then what do I know? I might be wrong. Okay. Four, 3. I can't believe he admitted it. Oh, what did he admit? I can't even remember anymore. At least he didn't kill any more trees for no reason. They're laying dead everywhere. He's a hazard to himself. And they are everywhere, right? I don't understand. Oh, that's what he admitted. What Lynn said. Cody was trafficking children to paint those tables. When those words came out of his mouth, I just sat there and thought, what? Did you think that was an okay thing to say? I mean, it's not an okay thing to even think, but did you think it was okay that those words came out of your mouth? Do you know we're filming you, Cody? There's so many times I just think he does not still understand what these cameras do. They get projected out to other people. It's shocking. Oh, right. When she made him pinky swear, like he was in elementary school. And then he's like freaking out over the pinky swear. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can promise. You just did promise. The pinky swear makes a difference to you, does it, Cody? Huh? Your word is not worth anything. Good to know. I mean, we all knew, but good that you let us all know. Yeah. She knew she had to make him pinky swear to get him to remove the tree within 6 months' time. It should have included, and all the other trees that are on Coyote Pass and around our lawn. Because honestly, it looked like a tree graveyard. What was it, earlier this season or the end of last season? I remember making the comment, why are there so many trees all over their property just laying on the ground? Now we know, just because he likes to cut them down just for fun. Because Cody likes to do what Cody likes to do, even though it makes no rational, reasonable purpose behind it. Okay. All right. We have reached our time. Can you believe it? We are over time, actually. Let me see here. Let me pull up. My quotes. I saw one that I thought was really good, and then I thought, did I read that one already? Okay, tell me if I read this one already. Because it's a Charles Dickens quote, which makes me think, oh, maybe I read it already, thinking of Cody. It's, we forge the chains we wear in life. It's a quote from Charles Dickens. I'll put it in the chat. We put ourselves into those own situations. Cody, you forge the chains that you're wearing in life. All right. This was fantastic. You guys are great. I love you all. Good night from the Sacred Cow, from Puddle Monkey, and of course, Sonny and Cher. And She-Ra and He-Man. Who Robin and Cody think they are. In their dreams. Yes, please like and subscribe on your way out. Leave a comment if you didn't get a chance to do it in the chat. And we will do this again next week. I have a feeling like it might be another good one. But we'll see. Mid-season finale, right? Mid-season finale. We'll see what that means. I put in my video that I think that there's a possibility it might mean we might be doing a post-Garrison part of the season now. Only because of the timing of everything and how we are dancing around the March timeline. We're in December, we're at the end of the summer, we're kind of, so I feel like we're going to address it hypothetically. I have no information. And Twilight, no, I don't think it's going to be 40 episodes. They said it was going to be 28. I thought that included all the talkbacks and lookbacks and all that. I pray they still do the talkbacks, because I thought those were amazing. And they've been doing 4 one-on-ones. So if they do 4 one-on-ones and 2 talkbacks, that's 6 right there. And then last year they also did 2 lookbacks. So that's 8 more episodes in addition to the series. So I'm thinking they're counting those as well. So that maybe we're going to get closer to 40 if you include those 8, and there's still going to be another group of, we could be going into April at this rate. Last year we were done in December. This is crazy, but they're catching up. So no complaints. I don't have a life, but no complaints. because it would be so nice to actually watch the show and be within a 6-month period of time of when things are actually happening. That would be good. All right. Let me sign off. Next Tuesday, I'm going to show you some potential merch that's in the works. So make sure you tune in next Tuesday. And good night, sister friends.